trading as well as I can, and that is what gives me satisfaction. And I know that if I trade well, everything else will follow. I won't even have to worry about it.
So every time like we do something and we see like a little like mistake, we immediately realize that, recognize that, and then we just work on it.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Gen Traders YouTube channel. Happy Halloween. We are recording this on Halloween. Dedication, yes, sir. It's just me and Alex today, but we had to get an episode out for you guys. A little bit of October recap. We got a lot of good content packed into this one. We're going to get pretty deep into our charts. I know Alex is, as he always does, with his analytical approach that is very, very good. And so, yeah, let's get right into this episode. Alex is going to start talking about how his week went first. We're going to start talking about how our weeks went. We'll get into the markets. He'll do OTC. I'll do listed. Then we'll talk about our trades. Then at the end, we will get into a monthly recap. So without further ado, Alex is going to start us off. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing actually good compared to the whole October. This week's in particular started, I ended it much better than I started. On the first 3 days, I had 3 losses, but they were good losses. Like I was following my process. Like every trade that I took, it wasn't dependent on the one that I took before. I was just like looking at the setup, like a separate setup. So then when Thursday happened, on Wednesday, I wrote in my daily journal that if tomorrow there's a solid setup, I shouldn't care that I was on the 8th losing streak. And I said that it shouldn't be in my mind at all. And then on Thursday, I saw the setup, I took it, and it was my second best trade that covered my all 8 losses. I was red on the month, and it just pushed me back green. Literally before that, everything was just holding in my one TLSS trade. So as you can see, my trade could just like make my whole month. Like, all the traders, they say that. So in the future, I'll stick to this, but maybe one thing I can improve is like take less not ideal trades, but I'll talk about it later. So yeah, so overall my week ended nicely and as well as the month.
Awesome. Yeah, I have to agree with Alex. He said he finished it a lot better than he started, and that was how I exactly did the same thing. As I described in the past episodes, yeah, I mean, this week has been awesome. My first week was my burnout week, as I explained to you guys. The next 2 weeks after that, we're just like getting back in the swing of things. But this week was I've really noticed that I know exactly what I need to do now this weekend after this week. And although this week went much better than before the weeks in the past, I still made some mistakes that I learned the lessons. I learned the mistakes. I turned it into a lesson. And now next week in the future is action, never to make those mistakes again. Just cut those out and then everything will be good to go. So we'll do more of a monthly recap at the end, but that was just how our weeks are going. So Alex is going to get into the OTC market now. So
yeah, so I remember as like before, like a month ago or something, I was saying that my perfect way of trading is like when there's 2 or 3 solid trades per week, and I just take them. So I think this week there are only one. Like I don't think there is. Maybe two solid trades for this month. I mean, this week, and I took one of them, and it was the best one. Like the best trade that was this week, I took it, and this is the most important thing. Yeah. So that's also about OTC markets because they're still like very slow, but we still get like something. And this week, I think in the end, it started to show something. Like maybe because November is coming, because September, October are always slow, but November it's when it's close to December to winter trading. So I really hope we're gonna start because yeah, this week wasn't amazing, but it was still good. So yeah.
Awesome. Not amazing, but still good. There we go. Hopefully it gets better, and it definitely will. Winter months, OTC market.
Yeah, like Friday ended really nice. So we'll see.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
awesome.
It's like a good close on a stock. So you usually has a gap up the next day.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Let's just hope it doesn't have a huge morning panic.
Yeah, like it has in October.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the listed market it was pretty freaking hot this week. shorts, longs, still the continuing the DWAC, the Trump sector from last week. As you guys know, we talked about it in the last episode, but it continued basically this whole week with lots of sympathy plays. Friday was pretty slow. Friday was back to before the sector started, but Monday through Thursday was just a lot of volatility, a lot of volume, and yeah, the volatility brings opportunity, but at the same time, if you're not prepared for it, it can also make you lose your ass. So yeah, the listed market, gonna see if it can continue. You know, Monday through Thursday, like I said, it was hot. Friday was a little bit of a cool down.
So
Seeing if we
basically
can
the
get
opposite.
any new
Yeah.
any new sector momentum, and I'm just interested to see what the next hot sector is going to be. I mean, I hope with Tesla's run that EVs come back,
Oh
but
yeah, Tesla.
we'll see about that one. But as always, reacting, never predicting what's going to happen, and yeah, just taking what the market gives. So that's it for the listed market.
Yeah, okay. Then I'll start with my trades. I took 4 trades this week, only one winner. But I mean, we don't care about win rate. Okay, so this one, this was my first trade on Monday. Yeah, this was the setup itself wasn't ideal because of the fact that we see this stock is a little bit down, very hard. Like here, like it's in the lows. But if you look at like this chart, this is like what I like. You know, you have the first move and consolidation here. So I was trading it on this day, on this one. And then if we go to 15-minute chart, look, it looks pretty clean. Like that's clean. But yeah, if you look at the bigger picture, it's not that good, but it still was worth a shot for me. So my trade was on let's see, was on this day. I actually took 2 trades on this. First one was this day. This was on Monday. Yeah. So I had an entry, yeah, right here. So it had like this little trigger. It wasn't perfect, but I mean, it was still good. Yeah, because it was like you see, usually this setups when they have a gap up, it's like a sign of a trend change. So yeah, the ideal entry was somewhere here, but I just got it on the dip. So the same thing. But then when it broke actually, yeah, this one I sold before my risk, and I'll explain why. My risk was low dip, but I sold before because I used a very small dollar position. That means that I could have just re-entered later, and it would have affected my buying power. So I just sold here, and then I would have entered later if I had a solid kind of like move, solid entry point, but it never had really. Like maybe this midday, but it's not perfect. So I left it alone. Then the next day was again a good, pretty good. Here, pretty good. We had like a move, and then this trigger was at 43, and wasn't only here, but it was like a key level on the daily, on the intraday. You see this level right here. It was like the high from here and somewhere here. So I entered there, and then well, same thing happened. It just quickly broke my risk, and I sold. Well, yeah, but you see, like even though I had a loser before, I still took it because the setup is still there. Maybe it needs more time, you know. But I think the only reason why it didn't work out is because of the daily, and we see it broke down here. We'll see. I mean, it's still. I mean, yeah, I think it's not that perfect, especially in the slow markets. You gotta take the best ones. So yeah, the next one was
sir.
so that was on Monday and Wednesday. I think
Focus on the best and leave the rest.
Monday and Tuesday. The next one was this one, BTZY, and this was on this day. And so the only reason, yeah, let's first go to this chart. This had a nice swizzle right here. Right here had a nice swizzle, trigger at 0.31365, and I entered right here with the risk 0. And this didn't work out because you see, like it's not that clean, right here. And if you go to the daily, you also see that it has a big retracement. Like it went from 18 to early 8 and then right back to 13. So that's a huge retracement, like up and down. So that's too much too soon. That's why it didn't work out. And I knew this before I entered, but I still wanted to just test it. I didn't use big size. I just wanted to test it. So yeah, and then I also sold before the risk because it just wasn't the setup where you have to, it wasn't that perfect. What I mean? Like I usually stick to my risk when I like enter early and I have like a big picture mind in my risk, like all in my mind and all that. This was just different because it was very, oh yeah, it was also very illiquid. See, we got the volume right here and then there's no volume. So
Yeah.
it was pretty predictable that if it starts to drop, it can drop a lot because there's no volume. So it did that, but I got it out, but I got out pretty safely here for a tiny loss. And yeah, and then the next day, so that's 3 losses. Oh, I actually had 4 losses. Yeah, I had 4 losses and 1 win. This is still. Then this was, I think I talked about it in the last episode. Yeah, I think, yeah, that I missed. I wanted to enter somewhere here. And then look at this move I missed. Oh, no, wait. No, not this. Here. I wanted to enter right here and I missed like.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
So then it set up for this 8 breakout. You see from here, this is multi-month and also from here, more multi-day. So the next day after this big, yeah, it had a big move. I just out of nowhere. I don't think I just missed it totally. And then next day I had a consolidation day. Next day it was very similar to that day right here. See this little trigger, and I used a small position because I wanted to just test this pattern. This was a little different. So I entered here at 7.67 when my risk was low day, but then just broke it right away. Well, that was just tiny loss, but the risk reward was huge because I was risking like 5 cents to make then like 50 if it broke 8 to like went like 8.5, I don't know. So I mean we see it actually on Friday had oh yeah, it was also a move that I missed because I was focusing on another trade, but I know some traders they got here like started position or even like full position to, because look, it had a nice, they usually do this, like they spike into the close. See, this is nice. Like you enter somewhere here and then with the mind that breaks 8 and then goes to like, I don't know, 8.5. You see the resistance at 9. So nice risk reward.
Definitely.
But I had 4 losses at that moment and on the week.
Until.
And then Thursday. Oh, wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, this man, risk reward, goes right together. Look at this.
1 second.
Alex's risk reward goes crazy.
Okay, so so as you remember, I traded this breakout and I botched it. I had an entry at 202, no 22. Then I sold like 23 because I moved my risk incorrectly too early. So you had like a big move here already. So that would have been like a great trade too. And then when like I wasn't even watching it this day, but then this day on Thursday when I saw it on my scanners, I was like, oh, I remember this one. And I learned about it personally that first time, so I knew how it acts, like all that, because it's a F ticker, and I learned about it. So in the morning, right away, when I saw this, I knew this is a trigger right here.
Of course.
Yeah, I knew this is a trigger, and I had a little doubt in my mind, but then I was like, why am I even thinking about it? Like, this is a sold trade. Like, I should just take it. And it's a sold trade. Like, you see, this is entry at 2.8, 2.81, 2.82, risking 2.76, I would say, not 7.5, 7.6. Yeah, this is like perfect. And even though it's on the daily, like, it's not ideal because it's maybe like too overextended. But I remember someone asked Tom, they said, after how many days would you consider a stock overextended for a breakout? He said never, because as long as it consolidates, then you can have another move because you have a risk. Like, you don't risk all the way down, so you just have the same risk. It doesn't matter. So yeah, right here, I had in mind that this breakout, like this huge breakout, but obviously the first one was this because it gapped up above it. So I didn't have really like a big picture mindset going into the trade. So I had an entry. Yeah, I'll show my notes right now. I had my entry right here at 281, and I was waiting for the actual 8 break. You know, usually I can enter below it, but I was waiting for the actual break because to have more conviction. Yeah, so this is just perfect. Look, so wait, I entered right here. I had only $15 risk. My usual risk is 25, but I can't be using full size in a market where everything fails. So this is no regret that I use small size. The trigger, like you see, trigger, and then the risk was just not even 2%. So we get the first move, and I'm like, oh, happy because I think we're going right now above 3. But then it just stops here. I think 3 times. It stops at 9. I mean 2.9, and then started to like downtrend. This right here, like all this midday, I was obviously I held, but I like somewhere here I think I had like 10% confidence is gonna work, but I still held. I know there's some traders who sold, but I still held because I knew that like I'm in the trade. Like why would I sell? Because I had like 8 losing streak, and I didn't even have that in mind because maybe if I had it, probably maybe I would have sold to have like a smaller loss. You know, like not get my $15 risk. Oh, that's like a huge loss for. So I held. So I held. Look, my risk was 72. It touched 78. Yeah, I remember I think I was cooking something or and I had the wait.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you even
Okay.
said in our Discord,
Yeah.
you were like, "Oh no, looks like this is going to be
Yeah.
another losing
Oh yeah,
trade. This
actually,
market sucks." You literally said, "Looks like this is going to be another loss,"
yeah,
and then you
I
held
said
that risk.
I remember I said looks like another loss, and I said this is just sad, man.
Yeah, you did. You said that, and I was like, "Wow!" And then it started rebounding, and you were like, "Okay."
Yeah, it started yeah, right here. So I held through this, and then so this is actually perfect because it started to move right at 2 p.m. This is like perfect. Like I thought it would move at see this move it had right here, but it was
Yep.
midday. But
Mm-hmm.
then we started to get close to the end of the day, to the power hour, I mean. Yeah, so we broke above this wall at 2.9, and then go here. And then my plan was to sell third that day, and then swing the rest. So when so I wanted to break out 3, right? But I ended up rejected 3, and I'm like, okay, well let's because usually traders say like it's good to sell before key levels in case
Yep. That's one.
they yeah. So I sold not even third. I sold 1/6 at 280, 298. And then I just was okay. I'm either holding. I don't know. I think I said I said I'm selling the closing price. Oh, that was this day, but I still think I would have just sold the closing price for the next 6. So I have like 2/3 only overnight. There's still some risk, of the gap down. So yeah, but then it had a nice move above 3, and I sold there. So overall, I sold 1/3 at 3. So I was like at 4R, my first sell, like I usually do. And then my plan the next day was to sell everything like above 3.1. Then the next morning I wake up and I see it has like what it has ask at 3.2, and I'm like, whoa, because this is very this is very like unusual for this market. But the bidders were still like at 3 or 4. But then I see bidders at like more and more, and they're getting more. And then we even had some prints before market open. It's also pretty unusual for GCs. Then we opened we like had a big spike right here. Like I tried to sell all here, but I was just not getting executed. I think I sold at 9:33. Yeah, finally sold at now the third at 3.2. That was like 7R. And then the rest I just held. Like I was like, okay, this right here, because we had a nice gap, and you should always lock in there, not get greedy. And the rest I just held for the all-time breakout. Yeah, I had conviction because oh, I forgot to say that, but I'll say later. I'll show later. It was also connected to LAC.
Oh
Yeah, this
yeah.
is a Nasdaq. No, not even Nasdaq. This is a New York Stock Exchange sector later. And this day I'll show it. this one. And this actually broke all-time highs. Yeah. This broke all-time highs. So this is perfectly like it matches that. And the day before my trade, you look, this day, look. These days, before days, every time it broke V up, it dropped. But this day, this was on the first day. Look how perfectly it held V up and then had a nice
Nice channel.
move. Yeah, and then next day, look what we had. It had a huge move and broke all. No. Here, didn't really gap up like the other one did, but this one had a huge move here and it broke all-time highs. And then the LIACF followed that, had the top here, and then I again see I sold before the all-time highs because it's like a huge level. It probably gonna reject that because of the market. So I sold there another small piece, and then there I didn't want to hold because if I held, then I would have counted that trade for November. I didn't really want to do that. I'm like, let's just end here, just and start through. Yeah. So and then I sold, and that was actually a nice sell because this sell meant exactly 1.7.000 R risk reward. Like,
beautiful.
So yeah, this is my second best trade after TLSS, and I was all in October basically. That was basically my two last sold trades, and they're the best ones that I have. This is just perfect. I followed all my plan. Like looking at this chart, I can't say how better I could have traded because
I agree.
Like I don't know. Like we will look here. Like I held through this. Look, like midday, it had like you probably. I didn't even know what was my risk, because that was kind of a weird situation. Because it had a gap up and maybe risk green red. Yeah, because I had only 1/3 left. Like there's nothing. Yeah, so I just held, and it's actually good that it didn't really break out because now we can play it next week. Hopefully it holds below and then has another break. That'd be huge.
Could you imagine? Third time's the charm, another one?
I mean, when I was playing this one, when I was trading this one right here, I didn't imagine this move over the all-time breakout. Remember, I was playing this little breakout right here.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that trade.
That's basically the breakout that I played on that one that I remember played bad. And then this one's the trade that I played good. And see, this is the next trade coming. So we can see this one at $10. Oh, of course not. So well, yeah, this trade alone covered my 8 losses and pushed me green. That was so I risked 15 and made 105. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And anyone out there who's watching this who is a newer trader, focus on risk reward. Alex just showed you why. He said this made up his past 8 losses and more. That is just 8 losses. Like he took 8 losses in a row. And he was like, he didn't let himself get down about it. He wasn't like, I'm losing all these trades. He kept his mind clean slate. He just focused on the next. He knows that they're independent, and he freaking bombed this one and just it made it all back. And that's just awesome. And you went from red on the month to green on the month in one trade. That's crazy.
Literally one trade. Yeah, and awesome. I didn't have, like, remember how I said I didn't have a big picture mindset, but it turned out to be a huge trade. Well, I just focused on the executions and nothing else. So that's fine. I wasn't. Remember the story that I said? So this day when it closed, I went to my Schwab account to look at my entry time, and I didn't want to look at how much I was up. But then when I opened, Schwab right away showed me like $60. I'm like, oh, why would you say that? Like I don't want to look. I want to look at the end because Schwab, the way Schwab does it, so when it closed, they close all on my position, and then they made my unrealized P&L realized, and then the next day, I had I think I had average at the open, I guess. I mean,
yeah, that's right. I remember they did that.
Yeah, so I had here I had 105 P&L, right? But for them, I had like 60 and 55 this day, 45 this day. So it's they kind of different. That's why they showed it right away. It didn't even show us unrealized. It showed realized I was up like $60 this day.
Dang.
Yeah, I didn't want to look.
Well, it showed you anyways.
So yeah, that ended
That's a
my
freaking
month.
fantastic trade.
Literally last day, like Friday, last day. So okay, let me just now share my month here. You can see literally Thursday and the last day is the only days that made my month. Look, like all this, like this was 2 losses, 1, 2, 3, like all this loss. You see, my winner is trash. But I mean, in
Doesn't
October,
matter.
yeah, this doesn't matter. And let's see. Oh, this is also important. Yeah, this is
Grandpa Jack Kellogg.
okay. Yeah. So you see, this is also very important. Let me make this. Yeah. So we see TLSS on 27. I had a good entry. Botched the trade for a small gain. Next day, I had the best trade ever. 10 hour. The same thing here. On the 12th, I had a not bad entry, but still, I completely ruined it. Then next time comes, I had my best trade, the second best trade. So see, I said learning from mistakes is one of the most vital things in trading. This is exactly right. Just learn from every single trade, and then when the next one comes, because this one I learned about all the personality, like literally everything. One of the personality of FTickers is, ABML, when you
Yeah.
had midday sell-offs, like the red tape will come, like kill all the bidders. This one, every time you have sell-off, nothing changes. It's like a new bidder comes. So they have like, I don't know, like different personality, and yeah, I learned about that. And I want to show my month. This one, yeah, this one is good right here. So this R is this counting of average loss, not my average risk. So yeah, basically that's a different R. But you see, like my average gain is 55, and it's basically it's this number. So it's 4 times my loss, and this is the most important thing. Then the percentage isn't that important, because remember I had a 12% loss, but I was like 20 bucks. So percent isn't that important. Well, what else do we have here? Yeah, this one, this is a new record. Before
Yep.
I had seven. That was in March. Yeah, well, I don't care about that. My consecutive win, I think my best is 5. That was also in February. So yeah, and you see, my number one mistake is I didn't trust myself and my setups enough. There's also enough for Mr. Yeah, because I had a lot of missed trades, but I don't know, I just didn't trust it enough. But that's definitely changing for the next month. And last thing is this chart. Well, it's basically the same thing, but it has R. So, and for the next month, I'm starting 25. See, I went to 20. It wasn't even 25. It was like 15. But like that was in
Yeah.
my mind 25. So maybe I don't like, I'm still waiting for the trade when I can actually take my 25-20 risk. Because there's
Right.
even this one, even though it was perfect, but the overall market, it didn't suggest for the full risk. So yeah, well, that's it, I think. And the important lessons that I learned is, let me look. I'm posting my recap too, my monthly recap to my Profitly, like I do all the months. I've done 9 of them.
Link in the
Crazy.
description.
Yeah, crazy, 9 of them. Link in the description. Yeah, and yeah. So the first one is trust the process. Like I talked about it, how you should always stick to your plan even in the slow markets, and every trade is independent. This is huge. Yeah, like this looks like small, but it's one of the hugest strength trader can have. Don't let like any outside emotions, and ego too, because you could have had ego here. Like you have 8 losses, and maybe you would have. Obviously, I wanted this trade, right? But I didn't went for it. I didn't go for it. Like it just came to me, because sometimes when you have a lot of losses, you want to have a big one to cover everything. But I just knew it's gonna happen. I knew it was inevitable. Like I didn't went for it. You know what I mean.
Yeah. That's definitely an important lesson, because a lot of people think that the more that they win, then they're gonna have their like new best trade after they're on a win streak. When in reality,
Yeah.
it's after you've been, read, and then you gather yourself, and then that's when you have
Actually,
your best.
yeah.
Because a lot of people like have win streaks, and then they like get all euphoria, and then they break a rule that they never broke beforehand, and then they end up taking a bigger loss than they should. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's opposite. That's what's counterintuitive. One of the many things counterintuitive about trading, but we love it. So
It's like, it's like when someone like hits you like a million times, you're so angry and you just hit him back, like just kill him. So literally same thing here. Like
right.
one shot, yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you whatever your favorite food is, if you haven't had your favorite food in
Yeah.
freaking 5 years, it's gonna taste a lot better than if you have it every day. So there's a little comparison.
Well, I wouldn't mind having this trace every day.
Right. Obviously not. Obviously not. But is that all you got, Alex? That was super awesome.
Yeah.
And
Actually, maybe I can also show my trade review, the losses, and yeah, quickly.
okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here. Yeah. See, not a lot of trades. And TLSS too, remember, but it counts. It went for October, I mean for September, because that's how they counted, but whatever. So this should be another big bar here. And just had see a lot of small losses, but in general, everything covered by one. And if you look at this thing also, it's really cool to look this one. Like this drawdown. Wait. Yeah. See, it didn't even look that bad here on this
Oh
chart.
yeah.
It wasn't even a lower low, right? Yeah, lower low.
Mm-hmm.
So and then just one just came back right there. I'm almost at the well, that 1,000 is obviously it's not on my panel, it's without commissions, but still we're right there. See top right there. So hopefully next month we're gonna break out.
Yes, sir. Do not short that chart right there. No, sir. Love it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that was all I want to say. Yes.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right, so I am going to go over some trades from this week. I'm going to go over 4 of them. I took 7, but I'm going to go over 4. Let's see. Let me share my screen here.
Lance had his best trade this week.
I did have my best trade this week.
Beautiful.
Still a lot of lessons and things I'm working on every day, but did have my best trade this week. I'll go over that. And you know how people say it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. And even though this week I definitely did not trade as well as I should have by any means, still took more trades than I should have and made mistakes that I shouldn't have. But for this next month, I'm just going to I'll just talk about that afterwards. But can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see. Let me go to the daily chart first. This was on PHUN, hot sector play. This was on Monday right here. And this was actually ended up being a red day after this huge wick day on Friday of last week. This was continuing the hot sector. So let me go here. I'm not going to go to the 1 minute, the 1 day, 1 minute. I got to go to the 10 day, 1 minute. All right. So this was definitely not an A+ setup by any means. There wasn't any new news. It dumped out the open, which I don't love when that happens. I would prefer the spike to come initially. But once I saw it start basing down under here, that was all I needed to see. And given that it was a hot sector play to DWAC, it ended up being a good setup for me. I would say B+. So not like the best, but this was my first trade, adding to a winner, recycling shares. And so let me just go over it super quick. Anyways, we got this basing down here, started making higher lows, drew this trend line, bought this break. Small size for wider risk. This was a very small position size for wider risk. So I got this little spike here and I ended up selling half into this little push because usually this first spike is bigger. So that's why I like to sell half. It would normally be up here into the 930s, but it wasn't. So I know what my setup needs to look like, and it wasn't what it was supposed to look like. So I sold half, and then I realized, this is holding up here. This is consolidating more little by little, and this is holding up here. I drew another trend line and noticed, okay, this is a perfect spot for me to add to this position. I added right here at 893, which is the exact same price that I exited the other half before. So I'm back into my original size, recycled those shares, that's how they call it, and then ended up getting this spike. And I sold after this strength push into the start of the weakness. Now, the reason I say this isn't like an A setup, this was a little farther under VWAP than I usually prefer. I usually would prefer to get a spike and then be, up in here, but it was a little bit farther under. But I traded this price action that I was given to the best I possibly could. And I just took the move that was there and I did some new things for the first time. And so yeah, this ended up being a 1.7 R gain. So not too bad. Obviously, November, my profit factor is going to be increasing because I'm working on how I exit. My exits are so important. I have my entries down, but my exits need work. So that is going to be my focus for the next month. But anyways, this was my first trade on Monday. Yeah, what's up?
So I like how, I remember your trades from the past when you had the same first two arrows. And then the next one so the next push, it just went it just spiked, but you didn't do anything. Here you recognize that and you had I first thought that you sold all then entered all like two trades, but then I remember that's you recycled. And that's actually even better because you just lock in half just in case. And then
right,
the other trend line, that's a good entry on the second one. The add to the position. And then exit as well. So that's better that you not hesitated to enter second time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for letting me know. I get it's a little bit confusing how it might look like two separate trades, but yeah, this was the full entry, took half off, added half back, exit full. So this was something I've never really done before. I don't really plan to recycle shares, but when the opportunity presents itself, I did it here. And this was just some lessons that I was, putting together over my knowledge. I knew how to do all this stuff. I just never did it before. First time I'm adding to a winner. I think that's huge. Definitely going to be looking for that in the future. But yeah, this was my first trade on PHUN from Monday. And now I'm going to go on to a trade on the same stock, actually. So this stock was obviously the sector. So it was the same stock. And this is very, very important. This was on Wednesday. I had my new best trade on Thursday. I got exactly what I was looking for. Actually, this second part right here was a little bit more extended. I would have preferred it to settle here in the 4.7 and then draw my trend line and have it break. But I ended up drawing it here because I needed to wait for this to settle. I'm not buying in a straight green. I needed to wait for these higher lows and wait for this to settle down. I'm not going to buy anywhere in here. Anyways, I drew my line after I got the spike, comes under, higher lows, not buying into this, got the break of my trend line, and I sold half right here into the strength of the push. Now, I don't like to sell into complete strength. I would prefer to wait for the strength and then as soon as I see weakness, get out. But I ended up selling this here and then I sold my other half 2 minutes later here for no reason. And this lesson really set the tone for me for the week because I was down red on the day in the morning. And this trade was my second trade of the day. So I somehow let the fact of becoming green on the day get into my brain. And for some reason, I sold my other half here. What I need to be doing, and which is what I continue to do the rest of the week and focus on for the future, I'll show you guys in my next trade, is sell my first half once I see weakness. Should have been out up in here. Then set the other half back at my original risk, right? My original risk back here in the 470s. I should have set it back my original risk and let it go. Let it go, retest VWAP, let it go here, let it go here, let it go here, and enter once this can't confirm the breakout of, let me move our faces, of this level right here at 555 from this other high a day, obviously not pre-market, but the high a day. And as it failed here, this is where I should have been getting out up in the 550s. And this is where my patience is getting much better. But this lesson right here was so key. And I needed to take this lesson. And this ended up being a winning trade. Like, I'm not like fully knocking it, but I did not follow my process well at all. And I let the stigma of getting green on the day get in my head, which I can never do. Every time I've ever thought about P&L, I've ended up not trading well. And that's just how that works. So, yeah, I don't remember the exact P&L. This was around 2R on this one. So yeah, that was PHUN. And keep this in mind. The second half, I exited right here when I really shouldn't have. Then I learned from that lesson on Thursday. I was like, there is no more of this freaking BS where I exit my second half right away and I need to be patient with that second half. Anyways, HCWB, huge morning spiker, downtrended through all the rest of pre-market. I watched Matt Monaco trade this live on Small Cap Rockets in the morning, but he made a great trade on it. But that's just not what I like. That's not my setup, and I recognized it. I watch him trade it. I'm never going to follow his alerts, obviously, because following alerts is stupid. Never do that. But this wasn't what I was looking for. I needed to wait for my bread and butter setup. I needed to wait for the spike, come under, set the higher lows, then we're off to the races. So waited for my trend break, sold the first half right here under VWAP. And it's actually funny because Alex texted in our Discord and goes, I know exactly what Lance is thinking right now. This stock just spiked 8% or whatever. And no, not 8%. This stock just spiked 6% or whatever, has a little gain. And Lance just sold this because he was up a little bit on his position. Alex literally said that to me. And I was like, and honestly, I'm like, I don't really have anything else to say to him. It was kind of true.
Yeah,
like, honestly,
that's not bad.
It was an impulsive sell, right? Because
you know why? Did you expect this move? This
absolutely
move?
not.
So that means you got what you expected very quickly.
Right.
So that means
it came way faster than I thought.
So the stock just reached your goal right away. That's why it's good that you didn't even sell everything. So that's a good sell. The first one.
Right. So I obviously, as Alex said, thanks, man. I didn't sell everything, but this is where the key lesson from yesterday came in, because yesterday I exited my second half right away, but I didn't have time to, even think about that second half because the spike was just freaking insane. Like I said, I don't expect anything, but my setup doesn't really ever call for a freaking candle to go from 565 18% candle in 1 minute. Like, I don't
That's
even.
Huge. That's even better than some of the OTCs. That's a 1 minute candle. Whoa.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. But this candle was just insane, and this ended up being my best dollar gain of all time, percent gain of all time, and
executed trade
of all time, because I learned that lesson from yesterday. I exited half here. Obviously, my setup does not call for high day breaks. If I get a high day break, it'll be my last half or my last 1/3, just kind of as a let it go, kind of like Alex did on LACF. He was out 2/3 on his last third. He kind of let it go for a bigger move. That's how I would do for these high day breaks. Usually I'm not expecting one. Anyways. Oh yeah. Oh, this is also very, very important. I probably wouldn't have been out exactly right here, but this candle came so fast, it stayed at 672 for like 3 to 5 seconds in a row, and I thought it was halted. I thought it got halted at 672, and I was like, oh shit, get me out. So I'm putting my limit order in. I put it at 672. It's not moving. I thought it was completely halted. A couple seconds later, it starts moving again. My limit order executes at 672, and then it just completely dumps right back to freaking 6. So this thing was moving really volatile. Yeah. Like, it was moving fast.
Okay, now, what was your risk?
My risk was very small on this, actually, because it was super, super volatile. I literally got in at 543. I was risking 524, which, let me move our faces.
It's still like not the tightest one. I mean, you usually have no, because I feel like maybe because of the range of the stock, you would have been a little wider than usual. No.
Well, could it have been a little wider? Yes. I don't go completely 100% off of chart. I don't also go completely 100% off of percentage. I do a little mix of percentage and chart to set my risk. Could I have set it, here at freaking 512? Yeah, I could have, but the risk reward isn't as good. And for my setup, if I'm not in the money right away, it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know a lot of setups take a long time after your entry to start going. Alex has that happen to him sometimes. Sometimes he'll get the big spike, but sometimes, as you guys saw, he had to wait a bit. So for me and my main bread and butter setup, if I'm not getting a spike right away, then that is a problem. And so that's why my risk is tight. So, sometimes people will say, like, why is your risk so small? I'm not like pointing anybody out or nothing, but sometimes my risk is too small, but I need it to be small in order to get my risk reward in check. This ended up being 4-to-1 risk reward, or 1-to-4, whatever. However, I know people say 4-to-1. Alex says 1-to-4. It only makes sense to say 1-to-4. I don't know why people say like 4-to-1 if risk reward. Anyways, that's beside the point. But yeah, this trade was all about lessons learned from the day before. Just like Alex said on TLSS.
Yes. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I was going to say this earlier, but I figured I would wait. Alex, he had a good trade on TLSS. The next day was his best trade ever. I had a good trade before.
I didn't have a good trade. We had a good entry, but
good entry.
I mean, so actually that wasn't TLSS. Remember, this was the other one. I sold just like you did the first half and then half on field.
Oh, wait, on LAAT, yeah.
Not like before, but yeah, that thing about lessons, yeah. We had like I see. Yeah, we had like a medium trade. I mean, for you, that was a good trade too.
Yeah,
then the next day you use that knowledge, the lessons you learned, and then you have like a great trade.
Yeah, thanks, man. So for me, like the last one, the Wednesday, it was a good trade from what I've been doing previously, but I knew that I did not trade nearly as well as I should have. So this time, I executed this perfectly. There's no better way I could have executed this. As you guys can see, right afterwards, it was just a freaking, this is just ugly. This is just terrible. Like, I don't like this. But I took the meat of the move. I took what I needed and what I knew, and that was that trade on HCWB. So this was a great trade. It ended up bringing my month from I was on pace to have my worst month yet since I started trading in June. But I ended up down on the month. Actually, I'll share that in a second. But yeah, so this was a great trade. Let me go over one more trade, and then I'll share my little monthly spreadsheet thing. I want to go over a losing trade.
Oh, the one and only.
One and only? No, definitely not one and only.
I mean DWAC.
Oh yeah, DWAC. So I took 3 losing trades this week solely from not focusing on my setup that I know is my bread and butter, and that is my morning trendline setup. And I bought 3 different morning spike-ish type opportunities this week, and I was red on all 3. It started me red 3 out of the 5 days this week. And so my second trades, when my bread and butter setup came along, it was, okay, I'm red on the day. Not like I have to get green on the day at all. That's not like in my mind at all. But okay, I'm red on the day. I just got to trade my process as well as I can. But here on DWAC, it got a morning spike, a dip to VWAP, and I bought this, VWAP bounce type idea, risking low a day that it would just, since it's a hot sector, that it would just bounce and keep going. However, actually, I should probably show the daily chart. That would help a lot. So this is the 27th. All right, so this was looking for a first green day right here on the 27th. After the obviously huge day, 2 red days, this was, setting up for a first green day. And, I did it again. I did it again, dude. Anyways, anyways, I bought here and then sold when it risked low a day. What I needed to do and what I need to do every time is wait for my bread and butter setup, set the lows, starts making basing, draw my trend line after the higher lows, buy here. I would sell my first
Yeah.
half
So
up into this
your
place,
trade was
sell the
there.
second half up into here.
Yeah.
But so yeah, my setup is better. And then this is my afternoon wedge setup. But
Oh,
I didn't trade this.
so nice.
I didn't trade this. I was in stupid
Oh, I remember.
science class. But anyways,
Lance.
sorry, what's up?
Can you? Yeah. So that was basically like reversal first green day potential, like in the morning.
Yes,
Or
reversal long type deal.
okay, can you zoom in a little more to the morning? I know. So I know the way Britannia does. He will buy the high day break, and I think Dom he also likes the first green day reversals. Like this is he said this is his the only pattern he trades, like the most favorite Lisa pattern. He like kind of I think treats them like OTCs. Like he doesn't buy the high day like Britannia, but he lets the stock like settle, and then when it starts to like move up, he starts to enter there, like with the risk on the I think either low day on the so basically the first green day, high day, morning break. So,
Gotcha.
but you bought like on the red day, on the red candles, that was a little different.
Yeah, it is a little different. Like, so he would have waited until it broke here at
Probably, yeah.
63.40.
Well, that's how Britannia would have done. But I'm not too familiar with how Dom does it. But yeah, he would have like, I mean, he wouldn't have entered where you did. So he probably later if it proved himself.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for saying that. But it comes down to the fact where my main lessons of the week are if I just stick with my process that I know works, that I
Yeah.
know I will become
Same thing.
profitable with, that
Exactly same thing.
yeah, and not trying to dabble in with other stuff that's outside of my exact criteria.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm going to do this week and this month. And, for the future, I'm sizing up to $15 risk on
Nice.
my bread and butter setup. But anything else that I take, like with any afternoon trades, will still be my $10 risk. So my main setup is going to be 15, or maybe even more, just a 10, 20 max. But most likely 15. I know it goes up really fast, but I'm going to do 15 for this week. So yeah, so here it just shows that if I just wait for what I know,
Mm-hmm.
that it ends up being a lot better than trading, something I'm not familiar with. And that's where it comes, following your process and focusing on your best and leaving the rest. Everybody trades differently. Everyone has a different setup and what works for them. And I'm like, why would I trade something that's not exactly 100% my criteria? It's literally like asking the market, hey, can I get a losing trade? Like essentially that's what you're doing when you're trading something that doesn't have all your criteria, that you're not really familiar with. It's literally like asking for a losing trade. So that was all for this trade. The main lessons here were to focus on my best and not try to dabble in with a setup that I know I am not comfortable with. Once you get to the point where you have your defined setup, you need to focus on that and only that. And so that is my current focus right now. I had multiple opportunities on this stock on Thursday to enter. This afternoon play was just super, super optimal. I missed it, not able to trade a lot of afternoons, but whatever, that's besides the point. And then in the morning, this one was perfect also. So it's just waiting for my best and leaving all else. All right, guys. So that was all I had for my trades this week. That's all I'm going to go over. Now I'm going to go quickly over my spreadsheet for the month of October. Started off, this week was my burnout week. After I talked to you guys about that, like that week was just terrible. Like not only trading related, I couldn't focus on any of my college coursework. My brain was just so completely foggy that entire week. And as you can see, my performance suffered in trading. That was about 5R for me on the loss. This weekend after the 8th, I completely rejuvenated myself, went through a full mental clearing, couple days for the weekend. Then the next weeks were just, I didn't trade a ton. Like I didn't trade here. I didn't trade here. I didn't trade here. I didn't trade on the 18th. Like I literally only made 2 trades in 1 week, which was probably a record for me in terms of least trades I've ever taken. Oh, also, I'm gonna mention this now. It's kind of funny. Alex said his max drawdown, or not drawdown, his max losing consecutive trades was 8 and his max winning was 5. Those are exactly what mine is. I
I
also
was
had
just gonna say because
I have
it's
I
7
have
here,
an
no?
exact this was my 8 right here this week.
Oh, oh, okay.
This
So some of the days are 2 trades, right? Because it's 7 days.
Oh wait, no, actually, okay, so this was a two trades this day,
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
but it just ended up being a small red day. Okay, so yeah, there was 2 trades this day, small red day, but yeah, me and Alex have the same max consecutive wins and losses. That's kind of funny. Anyways, this next week I ended up down $2.09. All these were one trade days, just getting back into the swing of my process and knowing exactly what I need to see. After that week, I was ready to go for this week. Hot sector was here. Market's heating up a little bit. I didn't get to trade on Tuesday. I had a stupid dentist appointment that was an hour something away, like round trip. So I had to go like there and back and all that. But and like I said, I explained a couple of these trades, but and as I said earlier, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. And I ended up under 1R for the week, for the month. And my win rate is so bad because of this week alone. So yeah, just kind of I'm gonna make a monthly recap. I don't know if I'll put that in the description, but we'll see about that in a second. But I literally said to myself earlier today, I said, this month I went on every single bump of the mental trading roller coaster in terms of like lessons I've learned, burnout, new best trade, doing new things I've never done before. October was just kind of a mashup of all that together, kind of just like a full process oriented time in October. And I think it's exactly the preparation I need. I'm feeling completely ready to go for November. I know exactly what I need to focus on, exactly what mistakes I need to not do anymore. And yeah, I'm not even going to say if I did make them because I'm not going to make them because I found that before 10 a.m. I am not profitable. So I'm not going to trade before 10 a.m. under one condition. Anyways.
If it's an OTC trigger.
If it's an OTC trigger, right. Yeah. But other than that, I'm going to focus on what I know with my setup. My main focus for November is to maximize my individual process as well as I possibly can. Like everyone has something that works for them as they like learn through their trading journey, they find what works best. Alex has his morning triggers and his swings and they're awesome. He works every single day towards maximizing that to the best of his ability. For me, that's what I'm stepping into right now. I just have to put my head down and I have to focus only on what I know works and mainly work on my exits because my exits need some work. I'm going to figure out what scaling out works best for me. As the market starts to heat up, I might start scaling out in thirds. But as of right now, the follow through isn't amazing. It was good this week, so I did halves. But as it gets better, I might go in thirds. But it's just constantly adapting, constantly recognizing that, okay, I can improve this. Okay, I can improve this. And just trading as well as I can. And that is what, gives me satisfaction. And I know that if I trade well, everything else will follow. I won't even have to worry about it. So, yeah, that's basically it. Guys, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm talking in circles so much this episode. I feel like I've said the same thing over a lot of different times.
You said everything you have.
But yeah, that's okay. I kind of just like dumped my brain today for the month of October. But yeah, me and Alex are both super, super excited for this next month of November. Hopefully OTCs start to heat up. Hopefully the listed market stays. We get some new hot sectors. And, I know we say this every single month, but this is going to be definitely a month of key change. And
every month is a key. Well, because yeah, we're like at this point when we know like what to do. So every time like we do something and we see like a little like mistake, we immediately recognize that, and then we just work on it. So literally like all the months that like going further, you just like cleaning all the little things, because like we okay, so that's like we clean the whole plate, but like the little things, we then find them and then clean it. You see, that's like the point.
Yeah, I like that. It's true though. It's like we've gotten to a point where we know exactly what we have to do. We just need to maximize those opportunities. And I think that's a great place for us to be right now.
Yeah,
Obviously, we're not rushing anything, but we're just improving every single day, getting better day by day. And that's all we can do, right? Like
yeah, there's nothing
if
else.
if you're trying to get into trading and you're trying to rush and you're trying to do stuff as fast as you can, then don't even start. Like
It's better not to start.
you better not start before you lose a bunch of money. But yeah, man, we're super excited, and everything is just it's coming together, and it's great to see for all of us. So yeah, that's really all I got there, Alex. Anything?
Yeah. So I've talked to some of the traders, and remember one of them, Varun, he said that right now the only thing that he misses in his like trading equation is the hot market, because it's like I think it's just like us, because we started like in the hot market, but obviously we weren't ready for that, and then we just all like because like February, March, January, April, May they were hot, but I only capitalized on February. Then the rest of that just because I didn't know anything. But right now, like when I see the setups, I still miss a lot, right? But when like for example for November now, I know that if there's like 3 solid trades, I must take at least 2, because I have no excuse to like missing them all. There's no excuse because right now I have all the I can't even say that I have experience, even like little experience. So yeah, there's just the hot market is like the only thing we need right now. When it comes, yeah, we're gonna be able to capitalize.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
huge.
And no one's ever gonna trade perfectly. Obviously, we're gonna continue to miss our best
Yeah,
setups. Like
of
it's
course.
going to happen. You can't trade everything
Mm-hmm.
and make the most of every single opportunity. There's going to be some that you miss, but what's important is not trying to get revenge on the one that you missed. Just let it go and wait for the next one. That's it. That's literally all you can do. And yeah, I just think that's awesome. So, you got anything else on your mind?
Well, we talk about everything.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else for us to talk about. I mean, just all the content that we're going to need is what's going to be coming in the next week and the next
Mm-hmm.
month. So just constantly advancing our trading and advancing our process and trading as well as we possibly can. I know that's definitely our main focus, and everything else will follow. So that's all. I think that's all we
Yeah,
got, Alex.
yeah,
What do you
that's all.
say? That's all we
Yeah,
got.
I mean, we dived very deeply into our months.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
that's like each of us did a separate monthly recap. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's nice.
for sure, for sure. All right. Well, thank you guys, everybody, for watching. Hope you enjoyed our October recaps. It definitely helped us to get this video out. It definitely helps us to just talk it out, man, because obviously we talk about it amongst each other, but we don't say it vocally. And this
Yeah,
definitely helps us. So hopefully you guys can learn something also. Be ready on the lookout for next week's episode as the market starts to heat up, as we start to, start capitalizing on opportunities. We got a lot of great content coming in the future. So if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell if you like what we're doing. And yeah, go ahead and leave a like. Thank you very much. Happy Halloween. And have a great week, traders.
see you next
Trade
month.
safe. See you next month. Alex is going to freaking, I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't have a rooster like he did a couple months ago in an episode. He's going to tell his brother to shut up or something. Okay, he's back. Let's see what he's got.
My dog just skipped to my room. So that's better that you like not hesitate to enter second time.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Sorry, guys. I don't have the 1/2, 1/3, and all
Yeah.
these degrees like Alex has. His charts are much, much better. He's much more technically sound. He actually edits these videos. I cannot edit very well. So Alex is much better with the charts and also with everyone in Discord knows this. It takes me forever to get my arrows on my chart. I'll tell them I made a trade and then I'm out and they're all like, show me the chart. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm working on it. And then I take like 20 minutes to put my arrows on there. And since me and Alex aren't short sellers like Sam and Xander are, we don't get automatic arrows. So they have trade zero.
Okay. Oh, it's not. Wait. It's not just short sellers. It's a platform. Everyone.
Never mind. All the whole Trade Zero platform gets automatic arrows. I would love to have automatic arrows, but Trade Zero sucks for longs. So, E-Trade Pro is where it's at. This video is not sponsored by E-Trade
Pro. Lance, where did you go? Where did you go? I just thought how you had a nice ad, and then you went to like somewhere there.
Delete that whole part. That since after. What the hell? Where did I go?
I don't know.
I just spiraled out of nowhere.